If you write a where clause like this, you could be in big trouble. In this video, you'll learn what this means, why you should stop doing it, and what you should do instead. Here is the situation. You've got two tables. Here we have a cust order table that has details about orders placed from our online store and a customer table that has a list of customers. We need to join them together to get data from both tables and display them in a single result. For example, a list of customer orders and the name and email of the customer. To do this, we just need to use a where clause, right? Let's try that now. This query is written in dbeaver on a Postgres database, but the concepts are the same for other databases such as MySQL and SQL Server and any SQL editor. We write a select query that selects from a few fields from each table. We put both columns in the from clause. Then we add a where clause. We need to select records where the customer ID matches in both tables. Let's run this query. We can see the results here. It looks good. So what's the issue? What should you stop doing? It's using the where clause like this to relate data in two tables. It can get you in trouble. Why? You want to match data between two tables, and this where clause does that, and the right result is shown. It seems good. However, the where clause shouldn't be used to join two tables together. Why is that? You might be thinking, why should I stop doing this? Why would I want to listen to some database guy from YouTube, from Australia, tell me how to do my job? Well, there are three reasons I can think of, and each of them gets more important. Before I explain the reasons, if you want to get a quick and easy reference to a range of SQL commands for different SQL vendors, check out my SQL cheat sheets. They are a series of PDF files you can use as a quick reference for SQL commands and features, with versions for Oracle, SQL Server, MySQL, and Postgres. Check out the link in the description to get your free copy. The first reason is that it's not the standard way of joining tables. SQL is built from a standard. The ability to join tables using a join keyword was included in the ANSI 92 syntax, which also deprecated the use of the where keyword to join queries. So, although it's still allowed, it's no longer the recommended way. But you might be thinking, no big deal, right? It's still allowed. Let me bring you to the second reason. Using the join keyword can also be more readable. The intent of the where clause is to filter data that meets criteria that you specify, such as matching on names or dates or status values. The intent of the join clause is to relate data in two tables. This could be a personal preference, but you can make the query more readable by separating the part that relates data to the other tables and the part that filters on criteria. This is even more evident with larger queries. Once you start getting larger queries with 5 or 10 tables and multiple conditions, it can get confusing if they're all in one section. The third reason is that there is a risk of the results being incorrect. Wait, what? This can happen if you forget to add a where clause to your query to join a table. Let's see an example. This query selects data from a few different tables on the book database. We're joining the data using the where clause and filtering on an order date greater than the 1st of Jan 2020. Let's run this query. We can see the results here. If we look closely, we can see some duplicate data. We can see rows are displayed more than once. This is not ideal. We didn't get any error messages, and we didn't know if the duplicate rows are legitimate or not. There could be duplicate orders or books or records in some other table. We'll have to dig into the data to find out. The reason we got this error is that we forgot to add a where clause to join these two tables, the book and the book language. This means the database didn't match on these values and just showed every combination, resulting in duplicate rows. It's not all doom and gloom though, there is a better way. The way to solve this problem is to use the join clause and join the tables in the from clause. We update our query to select from one table, then write a join keyword. We'll use the inner join keyword because we want to see rows that exist in both tables. Then we specify the on keyword to say what columns we want to join on. Then we specify the columns. If you want to learn more about joins, you can check out this video here that I created. To join the rest of the tables, we add another inner join keyword, then the table and columns. We repeat this for all of the remaining tables. Finally, the condition in the where clause that filters rows remains there. We can't join this date to anything else, it's just filtering on this condition. Why is this approach better? First, it adheres to the standards that I mentioned before. It's easier to read as it separates the joins from the conditions. It also prevents the issue of missing a join to a table like we saw earlier. You can't include a table without specifying a join. You can also specify multiple conditions in a join, if your table is joined on 2 or more columns. You can use multiple join types, such as left, right, or full. You can run the query and see the results. We get the results we want without duplicate rows. The join keyword is superior to using the where clause to relate data in 2 tables. There is another thing you may see in the where clause, and that is people using where 1 equals 1 in their queries. If you want to know why people do this and what it's for, check out this video. Thanks for watching.